Limited aid deliveries have started to move again into Gaza after the delicate ceasefire was in jeopardy Sunday. Israel stopped aid and launched deadly strikes, accusing Hamas militants of killing 2 IDF soldiers. Now, Hamas has denied the accusations, saying the group remains committed to the ceasefire agreements. At least 36 Palestinians were killed Sunday from the strikes. U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and U.S. President Donald Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, will be in Israel today to keep pressure on to maintain the ceasefire. For a closer look at the conflict, where it stands this morning, I'm joined by retired Major General David Fraser, CTV News military expert. You know, I called it a conflict. We are supposed to be in a ceasefire. How does the president qualify the ceasefire as holding, and what will the task of Witkoff and Kushner be once they arrive in Israel?
Well, Anne-Marie, it's good to be with you this morning. I think, you know, the fact that both the president has sent out on his website that, you know, they will adhere to the ceasefire, that the fact that he has his envoys now in theater, the vice president is showing up tomorrow, is indicative of just how serious the United States wants to make this ceasefire work and how much pressure they're going to put on Israel to keep and apply to the ceasefire agreement so that we can move forward. But will be a tense week.
One of the key points that Israel brings up is the fact that not all of the remains of the hostages have been returned, therefore saying that the ceasefire is not fully being met equally on both sides.
Well, I think, you know, one of the challenges is after a couple of years of fighting with some of these remains, just to find them after, you know, Gaza has gone through, essentially, you know, being completely destroyed. I think that, you know, for Hamas, it's going to be a very difficult process. I mean, it's not like a live hostage. It's a lot more difficult. And the fact that, you know, we've heard from the, you know, Jared, you know, the envoy, that, you know, he believes that Hamas is still working in good faith is indicative that Hamas is trying to do the right thing here. But we're going to have to give them some time to get that done. I mean, we cannot imagine the destruction that has gone on there and how difficult it is to find a body.
Well, we're just looking at some of the scenes of destruction this morning in this live shot that's coming to us from Gaza. You know, on Sunday, Israel had stopped the flow of aid. That has resumed this morning. Limited aid is moving into the country. It is being restricted. Why is aid delivery being used as a strategy by Israel? What's the move here?
It is to put pressure on Hamas, to put pressure on the Gazans. It is what they've been using since the get-go. It is not a really great tactic insofar it puts so much stress on the population and mentally and whatnot, especially at a time when, you know, we've just gone through some good things that happened with the exchange of prisoners and hostages. You know, now's the time to open up the humanitarian aid. But Israel continues to play hardball with Hamas and the Gazans, and it's just something that, you know, all of us, including the Americans, have to work through.
If the strikes continue and the fighting continues on the ground, what does this mean for the ceasefire? Is it even really a ceasefire still?
Well, it was part one of a much larger 20-point ceasefire and end of hostilities. But it does, Sunday and the last couple of days, do put into jeopardy all the good work that has been done by, you know, a number of different countries, and including the conference that included our prime minister. It puts it all into jeopardy, and it just means that the Middle East will become even a more dangerous spot if we do not maintain this ceasefire. And this just allows more hatred to grow in the region, which is not good for any country.
You know, we talked about the U.S. envoy landing in Israel today. What are you watching for, and where do the negotiations sit from your lens right now?
Well, I'm looking for, you know, what is the Israeli prime minister and what's the IDF going to say as a result of this? What is the United States going to say? So I'm looking for 2 messages on what happens and whether or not that the envoys go back over to Qatar or Egypt to try to talk to Hamas. And so that'll be also what I'm looking for.
Retired Major General David Fraser, CTV News military expert. Thanks so much for your time.
Anne-Marie, thank you.
If you like that video, make sure to subscribe to the Your Morning YouTube feed, where you can find all kinds of new content posted every weekday morning.